Good morning, everyone. I hope that you have already determined that you are glad to be here. And again, we thank you very much, Jacques, for taking time and coming from San Diego to share with us. I'm Nida Bittman-Neville. I am CEO of TNB Consulting Group. And our firm is like a magnifying glass. And what we do is bring focus in the areas of marketing, communication, and image to our clients here in the United States, Canada, Australia, and Europe. And what we do are three things. We help our clients to market themselves effectively and identify the drivers of choice. What makes you the company of choice? We help them to communicate efficiently, both internally and externally, and help to establish then the image and brand that they so desire. It's my privilege and honor to be with you today to help facilitate, because the real purpose of the rest of this morning in this networking and brainstorming session is to get your ideas to those 10 ideas that we are going to present. Now, in the first two symposiums, we learned about what Cleantech is, and we saw again that definition this morning, which I found quite interesting myself. How important it is, something about the organizations and the entities important to growing clean tech in our own community, and something about the clean tech companies that we already have here in Metro Orlando, both large and small. This morning we heard the details surrounding one of the premier clean tech initiatives in the nation coming to us from San Diego. Now we'd like to turn our consideration to some of the ideas for growing clean tech sector right here. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of different ideas being implemented and thought about across this country. So the group took a painstaking effort to identify 10, and of course you heard John mention that a little earlier. So they've selected 10 ideas that represent the range of what is being implemented, and what we want to do is to get your reaction. This isn't necessarily a Q&A, but it is more of gaining your input through several venues. First, as we go through each one, as Marielle presents each one of the 10 ideas, after she has shared the key points with you, then I'm going to open that up for you to step over to the mic, just as a few of you have already done this morning, stating, if you will, your name, your organization, or your company, and then what do you think about the idea that has been presented. Now, one of the things that we must all keep in mind is that this is just a broad brush. This isn't down to the details. This is just a very broad brush of each one of these ideas. And the things that I'd like for you to think about, we also heard John mention them this morning. Which of these ideas make some sense to us here in Metro Orlando? Which of these ideas seem more important possibly than others? And what ideas seem less important to you? What do you have to say about each one of the ideas? And as you look down your survey sheet, you have a listing of all 10 of those ideas. You may look and say, this is where my passion is, and I want to discuss this. And that's exactly what we hope that you will do. So as she presents each idea, if that's one that you do want to make a comment on, I ask that you move out of your seat across the aisle. We know we have to kind of sort of climb all over one another in order to get over there, but there is purpose, because we want to capture not only your name, your company or organization, but we also want to make sure that we capture that in written format as well. So it is important that you step over to the mic and you speak clearly, if you will. And I will always say to my clients is, as we are presenting any idea, be clear, concise, and compelling. And because, as we know, we've only got a short period of time, and we will allot 1 minute to each individual. I'm going to be assisted by Adam. Raise your hand, Adam. And when I give Adam this little sign, he's going to tell you, thank you very much, and if you'll finish your sentence, we'll appreciate that. You'll get used to him saying that. Pretty soon we won't even have to do it. As we finish that last 5 minutes, you will hear this sound. That will be the end of that idea. She will present the next idea, and we'll go through, because I may look up and I've got half the room over there standing in line. We'll know that we won't get to everyone. However, we have 2 additional ways to capture your information. The second is, as we finish with all 10, if we still have additional time before the open forum, I'll go back and identify the questions that I noticed, or the ideas rather, where individuals were still standing and did not have the opportunity to speak. So I'll go back and pick those up and allow those individuals that chance to speak. Always remember that on the back side of that survey, which we'll ask you to complete and hand in before you leave, plenty of white space. So just identify a number and then write down whatever your additional thoughts or concerns are, and we would greatly appreciate that. We'll be collecting those. They'll be compiled and tabulated. So as we get started, I'm going to turn now microphone over to Marielle, and she will take you through the first idea.
Thank you. Before I start, I just would like to talk about the context of this. As you understand, despite a gloomy economic climate, clean technologies still offer a sense of optimism. Sorry. Okay, despite a gloomy economic climate, clean technologies still offer a sense of optimism. It is an industry that represents one of the fastest growing opportunities for job and wealth creation. How can we make of Metro Orlando a clean tech leader? As the clean tech industry is evolving, many federal, state, and local policies are still at the early stage of formation or implementation. Others are still under consideration. It is an ongoing process. Countries, regions, and cities all over the world are embracing the growth and development opportunities offered by clean technologies, but only those that embrace progressive policies to speed the transition process will be true leaders and winners in this race. Once the Cleantech Symposiums series are over and the Cleantech study report comes out, local leaders will need to embark into new initiatives to strengthen Metro Orlando's position in cleantech. Many factors can contribute to the success of an Orlando cleantech cluster, like leadership, vision, creating the right image, and policy implementation. However, public policies will play the most vital role. It is in that context that we're going to offer 10 ideas, discuss them, and to see how we can go new clean technology in Metro Orlando. Sorry. First idea. At least 20% of Florida's electrical power from renewable energy sources by 2020. In hopes of slowing global warming and creating green-collar jobs, states are setting ambitious goals for generating power from renewable energy, solar, biomass, wind, and other renewable sources. One of the most policy trends in clean technology in the U.S. have been the statewide renewable, what we call RPS, the statewide renewable portfolio standards. Most cities and regions that are considered clean tech leaders are located in states that require a specific percentage of their state's electricity to be generated by renewable energy sources by a target year. In 2007, Governor Chris proposed a goal of generating 20% of Florida's electric power from renewable energy by 2020. On January 9th, the Florida Public Service Commission adopted this goal, and now it's on the way for legislature. If this goal becomes law, consumers could be charged up to 3% more in order to jumpstart the market for clean technologies. Some RPS targets are even more ambitious. For instance, in California, Governor Schwarzenegger has proposed a goal of 33% by 2020, up from the existing 20% by 2010. New York Governor Patterson is proposing a goal of 30% by 2013. But large or small, RPS means demand for providers of clean energy technology and services. So overall, RPS are good for the community. The benefits include greenhouse gas reductions, job creation, energy security, and cleaner air. A study done by the Florida Public Service Commission shows that utilities could get up to 27% of their power from renewable by 2020 under the best circumstances, but only 6% in the worst case scenario. The mid-range estimate is under 15%. With an RPS loss speed, my question to you is the following. Will a renewable energy loss speed up the adoption of clean technologies in Florida, or will market be the determining factor? How much should we count on a renewable energy law to help grow clean tech in Metro Orlando? Thank you.
So we have heard again about our first idea, and the question is, will a renewable energy law speed up the adoption of clean technologies in Florida, or will market forces be the determining factor? How much should we count on a renewable energy law to help grow clean tech in the Metro Orlando area? Anyone wish to comment or answer that question? Please step over to the mic.
Dave Bruderle, consulting engineer from Gainesville, Florida. I can see we'd have a spirited debate on the definition of market forces. The role of government, according to Adam Smith, who wrote The Creation of the Wealth of Nations and is considered to be the godfather of free market capitalism, defined the role of government. The role of government is to set policy that serves the public interest, to protect the commons. And in my judgment, eliminating pollution is a public policy position that is supported by the vast majority of the citizen state of Florida. The Chamber of Commerce even took a poll, which they did not release to the public, but they found that 70% of the respondents to that poll, this is the Florida Chamber, said that they felt that climate change was an issue that needed to be addressed. Unfortunately, most of those folks did not think that they should pay more money to address that problem for energy. So what we have here is a challenge for government policy makers to get the policy right. We have to serve the public interest. The public benefit is reducing pollution in the most efficient way possible. And the most efficient way to do that is for policy to clearly define that objective so people, when they make purchasing decisions, can understand what it is they're buying. So a renewable portfolio standard is a policy tool that moves in that direction, but it needs to be implemented in ways so the consumer really understands the carbon footprint that they're buying every time they buy a gallon of gasoline or a kilowatt hour of electricity or any other form of product that consumes and uses. It depends on energy for its production.
Thank you.
Kerry Pierce, Lake County Economic Growth and Redevelopment. When I looked at this and then some of the other items on the sheet, and you were asking whether it should be from the government or from market forces, go back to an old saying I'd heard a while ago. Any accomplishment not a result of a goal is an accident. So with that being the case, if there's no one single entity saying that we need to reach this goal, if we reach it, it will be an accident. It will not be the direct result of someone setting that goal. So I totally believe there needs to be a goal set. Setting a goal does not mean that you set the path to achieve that goal. That's what all these other initiatives are out there. That's what the market does. They achieve the goal, but someone needs to set the goal.
Thank you. We have time for one more.
I'll try to be brief. Ken LaRose, CEO of First Green Bank. I think that we need to do this at the state level. If there's an embellishment at the local level, that's all the better. I think the goal of 20% by 2020, it needs to be simple, it needs to be measurable, it needs to be direct. Like Kerry just said, that all of the policy implications will flow down from that. We need mandates. As all of the stuff that's happened in the financial industry in the last couple of years has shown, the market will not self-regulate, despite what people want to think. And we need mandates, and this needs to be put in place immediately. Thanks.
Second idea, a creation of a Florida Clean Energy Fund. Public Benefits Fund was something mentioned during the last symposium by Dr. Fenton. Almost half the state now have public benefits funds dedicated to energy efficiency and renewable energy projects. Many states have determined that for any RPS to be successful, they have to be accompanied by a clean energy fund.